Christopher Jordan Dorner was a wound collector, type homegrown terrorist, spree killer, and cop killer who went on a 9-day-long killing spree which left 5 people dead, including Dorner himself, and 4 others injured in February of 2013. Dorner was born on June 4th, 1979 in New York, but was raised in Los Angeles County, California, also growing up in Orange County. He attended Norwalk Christian School from the 1st to the 7th grade. There he was allegedly the only African-American student and was therefore bullied by his other classmates, who would give him racial names. As a result, Dorner was involved in fights with other students and was frequently disciplined for the incidents. When he was a teenager, Dorner decided that he would become a police officer, attending a youth program offered by the La Palma Police Department. He attended John F. Kennedy High School in La Palma, Cypress High School in Cypress, from which he graduated in the year of 1997, and Southern Utah University in Cedar City, Utah. There he played football for at least 2 of the years he spent at the university, and later graduated in 2001 with a major in political science. The following year, he was commissioned into the U.S. Navy Reserve, commanding a security unit at Naval Air Station Fallon in Nevada, serving with a mobile inshore undersea warfare unit from 2004 to 2006, and being deployed into the island country of Bahrain for 12 months from 2006 to 2007. He was successful during his career as a reservist, earning ribbons for marksmanship and a medal for pistol expertise. Sometime during his adult life, he married a woman, but she later filed for divorce sometime in 2007. Simultaneous to his stay in the Navy Reserve, Dorner also joined the Los Angeles Police Department in 2006. On July 18, 2007, Dorner and his training officer, Teresa Evans, went to the Doubletree Hotel in San Pedro when a schizophrenic man named Christopher Getler was causing a disturbance. 2 weeks after the incident, Evans submitted a performance review to Dorner, which claimed that he needed to improve in 3 specific areas that are never determined to the public. The next day, he filed a report that alleged Evans was using excessive force in her treatment of Getler, kicking him in the face twice after attacking him with a taser and then handcuffing him on the ground. This prompted an internal board review that investigated the claims and listened to the testimonies provided by several witnesses, including Dorner, who was represented by Randall Kwan, a former LAPD captain. Getler maintained that he was kicked in the face by a female police officer who resembled Evans, but his testimony was presumably dismissed, possibly due to the hindrances of Getler's mental illness. 3 witnesses later testified that they didn't see Evans kicking Getler, and Evans also denied ever kicking him. As a result, the board's 3 members, 2 LAPD captains, and a criminal defense attorney unanimously ruled against Dorner's allegations, citing that they lacked credibility and that they were partially motivated by his fear of having his career ended by a poor evaluation by Evans. Subsequently, on September 4, 2008, Dorner's employment in the LAPD was terminated under the citation that he was making false statements. In 2010, he tried to appeal the decision for the termination of his employment, but it was dismissed. On February 1, 2013, Dorner was honorably discharged from the Navy Reserve. On February 1, 2013, the same day of his discharge, Dorner allegedly sent journalist Anderson Cooper a package containing a DVD stating his case against the LAPD, a bullet-ridden challenge coin, and a note reading 1 MOA, meaning 1 minute of angle, which implies that the coin was shot from a distance of 100 meters. 2 days later, Dorner began his killing spree, going to Irvine and opening fire on a couple seated in their vehicle during the evening hours. The victims were identified as 28-year-old Monica Kwan, the daughter of Randall Kwan, who was Dorner's attorney, and 27-year-old Keith Lawrence, a campus police officer for the University of Southern California. The following day, Dorner published a 13-page manifesto online, which outlined his experiences and stating his motive for the killing spree as an effort to clear his name. It also stated that he was framed by the LAPD in retaliation for reporting excessive force by Teresa Evans and demanded the department to make a public admission to the legitimacy of his claims. It also urged journalists to use specific lines of the initial case review that he sent to them as means of pressure for the LAPD. Additionally, it specifically named Randall Kwan and his family as targets, which prompted police to name him the primary suspect for the Kwan Lawrence double homicide 2 days afterward, since Kwan had failed to represent Dorner efficiently, and it also named other officers and specific acts that they committed. In the wake of the publication of the Manifesto, protection details were established for over 40 potential targets of Dorner's, while thousands of police officers were ordered to patrol the highways in Southern California in an effort to find him. The LAPD also removed officers from their motorcycles as a safety precaution. On February 7th at about 1 a.m., Dorner ambushed 2 police officers at a Corona gas station, both of whom were flagged down by a man who recognized Dorner from the news. Firing a rifle at them, he grazed the head of one officer but missed the other. He then escaped to Riverside, where he opened fire in a drive-by shooting on 2 police officers who were seated in their cruiser approximately 20 minutes after the Corona shooting. Officer Michael Crane, age 34, died from his gunshot wound shortly after the shooting, while his partner, Officer Andrew Takias, age 27, was left in critical condition but survived. Approximately an hour and 25 minutes later, Dorner attempted to steal a boat in San Diego, allegedly with the intention of going to Mexico, but failed. Later that day, police began shooting at vehicles that matched the description of the dark gray 2005 Nissan Titan pickup truck that Dorner was said to be driving at the time of the shootings. In 2 separate incidents, one in Los Angeles and the other in Torrance, 3 innocent civilians were injured. That same day, the truck was found, having been set ablaze on a remote fire trail located near Big Bear Lake, prompting hundreds of officers to search the entire area and schools in the area to be placed in lockdown. 2 days later, in an effort to assuage the public, which was being held on edge from Dorner's shootings of police officers, the LAPD reopened the investigation into the termination of his employment. The next day, a $1 million reward was issued for information that would lead to his capture, and his actions were labeled as a form of domestic terrorism. On February 12th in Big Bear, a couple, Jim and Karen Reynolds, found Dorner hiding in the house, having hidden himself there from police officers during the entire manhunt in the area. He subdued them and tied them up, promising not to kill them before fleeing in their car. He later abandoned the car and carjacked a man named Rick Helterbrake, driving his vehicle down the street. California Fish and Wildlife game wardens were first to spot Dorner and briefly got into a shootout with him. Dorner then shot at several San Bernardino sheriff's deputies, wounding 2. One of them, Detective Jeremiah McKay, age 35, later died at a hospital. He then went inside a cabin in Angeles Oaks, which was ironically located near a temporary command center that was heading the manhunt for him. There he engaged several sheriff's deputies in a massive gunfight, during which he was wounded, and a 3-mile perimeter was subsequently set up around the cabin, with residents being told to stay inside their homes with the doors locked. A standoff ensued, and police tried to coerce Dorner out of the cabin by using ordinary cold tear gas. But when he failed to respond, a demolition vehicle was used to knock down most of the cabin's walls in an attempt to force him out. When that failed as well, deputies fired incendiary tear gas grenades, the same type that was used during the Waco siege to kill 76 members of the Branch Davidians at a Texas compound, into the remains of the cabin, setting it on fire. As the cabin burned, a single gunshot was heard. Later that day, a body was recovered from the cabin and confirmed to belong to Dorner. The cause of death was revealed to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. After many days of debating, the $1 million reward issued for Dorner's capture was divided in 4 ways, with $800,000 going to James and Karen Reynolds, who were tied up by Dorner after finding him in their house. On January 11, 2014, a 59-page report was released by the LAPD, which cleared the sheriff's deputies, police officers, and game wardens present during the cabin standoff of any wrongdoing, citing that they had no choice but to engage in the gunfight with Dorner.